Now, I don't normally ask drug-related questions, but I'm gonna let this one through because hopefully we can give you some good give everyone some good advice. No, Sam, could you please ask Lee what is a good way to taper down taking T3, T4 and get your natural thyroid to start functioning properly? Reason I'm asking is because he mentioned he took some T3 for a show, and there is too much bullshit advice online that's full of idiotic advice. I would appreciate if you kept my name anonymous, and thank you for making these videos. I'm a huge fan of Lee.
You're welcome, John Smith.
And I love all the gym equipment you show. I wish we had that here in the States. Well, they actually are American companies, so...
Yeah. Well, yes, I have used T3 and T4 before, but what I do is I don't go that high where I shut my system down. If I'm using, like Cytomel was the main one, which is 25 micrograms, I was taking one a day, probably the last 5-6 weeks. And then maybe a week or two out, I'd go to 2 a day. Whether 2 a day was any better than 1, who knows. But then after that, after the 2, I'd go back to the 1 and then just went off them. So that way I never really shut your system. There are guys that are taking hundreds of micrograms a day and they stay on them all year round, and they're just shutting their own system down. So when they do stop taking them, the natural system doesn't kick in. So it's like anything. We're taking Cytomel, T3, we're taking testosterone. You want to take enough to add to your body, not to totally shut your body down. So just don't abuse anything. So if you're going to try them, just start on the 25 micrograms. It'll work. You don't need to go, if someone says, well, I take 100, you don't need to go take 100 just because somebody else is taking 100. 25 micrograms a day, plus a good diet, plus the cardio and the training will be plenty to get you in shape.
And also just add that you were training for Mr. Olympia. So,
I was training for pro shows and that, where, like I said, other guys using them. A lot of these guys, the amounts that I see young guys taking just for little local comps is crazy. And I can honestly say I've met a ton of amateur guys who are doing little local shows who take more than the pros have ever taken. So they take more no matter what. So on top of their T3 with their Eckies and all the other stuff they take, so who knows what they take. But I think they sweat out, don't they? So then they take, I know actually a lot of guys get ready for dance festivals take a lot of testosterone, a lot of T3s to get in shape, and then they take a lot of diuretics before the show, and then which is stupid because they're taking diuretics, and on top of that they go take all these other drugs like ecstasy and shit which make them sweat, or they're taking fucking MDMA, so they're sweating their ass off and I wonder why they drop like flies. So it's just stupid.